Hi everybody, this is Hero back with another Dragonflight video, and in this video I'd like to take a look at Protection Paladin and the new alpha trees that we have available. And my interest today is on something very specific. I'm looking at the healing profile from a raid perspective. Now some of this will apply to Mythic Plus, some of it will be relevant for PvP, but I have in view something a little bit more specific. And I have spent a lot of time in my raiding career on the Prot Paladin doing triage healing and trying to think about off healing as a Prot Pally. And the profile for that in the last little while has been the following. Large amounts of Word of Glory casts together with a talent that increases our throughput on Word of Glory substantially. So you can see here I have 95 casts of Word of Glory in the Sylvanas Windrunner. This is on Heroic, but you can apply the same principles. And then we have a couple of other things. Shielding Words, which is something that's going away, but what we get back is even better in my view going into the next expansion. This style of play, as you can see, is essentially using your holy power to save the lives of your friends. You can use it on Shield of the Righteous, but historically it has not been a button that has been super impressive for Prot Paladins. Obviously doing damage is excellent and killing the boss is preferred and all that kind of stuff. But there's a way to tune your gameplay style and maybe your raid setup so you could potentially drop a healer and have something like a Prot Paladin cover the throughput required for that boss just with Word of Glory casts. And you can see that for our setup this one time around, we had 2 Prot Paladins, but you can punch out pretty reasonable throughput. And this is one example of many times that we did this kind of thing. And the point is not to worry about parse numbers or anything like that, but just to look at the profile it's offering. It's triage oriented, meaning you are taking one guy in danger from very low health right to full. And it's very regular. And it's partly regular because of a mix of talents. In this case, on Sylvanas, because you're away from the boss a lot, you can make use of... oops, let me just fix it. You can make use of a lot of Blessed Hammer casts. So we use things like Blessed Hammer. You get Crusader's Judgment. And then you use Hand of the Protector alongside Divine Purpose to pump out a significant amount of throughput. Final Stand's another nice piece too. The point is, guys, this is a cool archetype. The savior Prot Paladin who comes into the fight prepared to help with the triage duties. When we march over to the Dragonflight talent calculator, you get a sense that not only is this profile going to be available, but it's going to be even better. And there's a couple of things that make it that, but there's one main one I want to point out to you, the most significant one. In the old tree, we had to make a selection between Judgment of the Light, which says that our judgment casts cause the next 25 successful attacks to heal the target for 7% spell power. So 7 times 25 is 5 times 3, 14, 170 or 180% spell power for every single judgment if you consume all 25 hits. It turns out this is a substantial amount of throughput. If you look at a lot of raiding Prot Paladins, in general they will be taking Judgment of the Light. And it's because it's a passive option due to the use of Crusader's Judgment giving us extra judgment casts. We have almost 100% uptime of Judgment of the Light. It's excellent. But it always competed with Hand of the Protector. And now it does not. And I'm going to tell you guys, no matter what kind of tuning they offer this class, they cannot break Word of Glory. It has to be good enough for the self-sustain of the Paladin. And if they leave both Hand of the Protector in and Judgment of Light, which has a 7% scaling, is still an excellent button. This is just taken right from Shadowlands. It's 7% on Shadowlands. If they bring both of these in, you have the recipe for gigantic amounts of raid throughput from the Protection Paladin perspective. Yes, you're losing shielding words. Yes, you're losing Hallow. Well, sort of. But these items alone, just their presence, suggests to me that no matter how they scale it, it's always going to be very strong. What are some of the other pieces? Well, it gets better, guys. Look at some of the cool ideas they offer. Recompense. Your sack is now going to supercharge either a judgment cast or a WoG after it's done. That's kind of cool. The other option is just way more uptime on sack, 1 minute, which is also amazing. But this is a great idea for all of the specs to have offered, especially Ret. Ret using sack and getting a giant judgment, really cool. But here it's available. This also synergizes with casting a lot of Word of Glories. How about 3 Word of Glories on demand on a 2-minute CD? That's pretty amazing. Remember, in that Sylvanas fight, I cast about 90 casts of Word of Glory. So 90 GCDs devoted to Word of Glory. Here you have on a 2-minute CD 3 in a row that you can cast for free. That's a huge number, guys. What about some of the other pieces? Well, Golden Path is back, which is pretty solid, and it gets better. Now it has basically the Ashen Hallow paint job. So we get Golden Path striking lowest health allies and enemies within it an additional time for 100% of its effect. I'm not sure exactly how the scaling is going to go, but Golden Path scaled fairly well. And if this stays as is, not only do you have Judgment of Light and Hand of the Protector, which offer 2 healing profiles that are immensely powerful in raiding settings, but if this is every second, you're healing 5 allies who are within your consecration, it's just another layer of healing throughput. Pretty awesome. You get things like Seal of Clarity, which reads your spending holy power has a 5, 10, 15% chance to reduce the cost of your next Word of Glory. That's great because having a holy power spender reduce the cost of a holy power spender allows you to plan ahead a little bit. You have 5. It's like shards with warlocks, right? A demo warlock, when they get a proc, they know they cast a Hand of Gul'dan and they immediately queue up either a Demon Bolt or a Shadow Bolt. They know if they get a proc, then they can cast another set of Hand of Gul'dan no matter what's going to happen, because they can count on some of that stuff. Similarly, you spend a Word of Glory while you're at 5, and you can reasonably assume that your next Judgment or Crusader Strike is going to put you at 3, and what this bonus might do is make it so that your next cast goes from 3 down to 1. And so the gameplay cycle isn't so awkward where you're tying it to Judgment casts, and your next cast of Word of Glory might be reduced, but you don't know. So if I'm at 1 Holy Power and I press Judgment, and if Judgment was the effect that made this happen, immediately I might be able to cast Word of Glory or Shield of the Righteous, or I might not, depending on how it procs. This is a better way to go about it. And it's just another way to help with smooth the throughput. So you have Seal of Clarity alongside Divine Purpose, which we also just get. We could also get a Holy Avenger if we really needed the punch, but Divine Purpose is amazing for us. It boosts the power. It gives you a chance to have free Holy Power spenders. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. The rest of the kit is pretty much what you would expect. We still get all the main tools. We get Diva Ore if we want it. You got Lay on Hands. You got, when you cobble it all together, your Avenging Wrath, or your wings. Here you have to take Might to basically make it the same functionality, but we get Sanctified Wrath, which is excellent. We can pair Sanctified Wrath together with Final Stand, so that's essentially 2 talents from that row that we now have. What Final Stand says is basically your bubble can be a cooldown for pure DR, and it doesn't cause the boss to go and swing at somebody else. You still taunt it and retain the aggro on the boss, which is awesome. We also get, as far as I can tell, both BOP and access to spell warding. These on alpha currently do not replace one another, though the tooltip says it does. Maybe they'll change that, but you still have some of these amazing tools. From the throughput side, things like Unbreakable Superior can now be linked together with Uther's Guard, which used to be a legendary, or it used to be a conduit, one of the two. Anyways, the effect is merging together the CDR on both of these things. So our Divine Shield now goes down to a 2.5 minute CD because we get 30% and 20%. Our Lay on Hands gets, I believe, 50% because you get from both as well. So this would be a 50% reduction. Instead of a 10-minute cooldown, Lay on Hands is now a 5-minute cooldown. Lots of goodies. On the spec side, you get all of the things that you're interested in. You get block chance from both casting Word of Glory and from Holy Shield, which is our tier 1 talent currently. This one, Faith in the Light, is exceptional for this kind of idea because the main drawback of spending so many of your holy power on Word of Glory is that you can't press Shield of the Righteous and gain, DR or defensive value. They want to move away from spamming out full uptime on Shield of the Righteous as being the only way to provide DR. Consecration should be doing a little bit of that work. But what Word of Glory says is, hey, you're rewarded for casting this on other people because you get block chance. And block chance is better than Shield of the Righteous in general because it increases or decreases the damage of the strike in a different way than the armor that you get from Shield of the Righteous. Not that Shield of the Righteous is bad. I mean it's nice to have both options. We get our 2 charges of Hammer. We can use Blessed Hammer. You could use Hammer of the Righteous as well and get some reduction through Grand Crusader, but I just think Blessed Hammer is kind of better. And the reason for this is you have 3 charges. You don't have to be near a target. If you're doing this sort of Paladin triage healer style, especially on something like Sylvanas where you're running out with arrows from the boss and doing a lot of movement, Blessed Hammer allows you to build charges of holy power, which is really important because we no longer get holy power from casting Avenger's Shield. So having access to Blessed Hammer is really good. In a raid setting with Blessed Hammer and 2 charges of Judgment, we rarely ever needed to cast Avenger's Shield to keep going with our holy power spenders. But just in case you're kind of getting behind, we get 3 charges with Bastion of Light. This is insane. Really powerful effect, and I'm glad it's here. We also get access to some CDR from Righteous Protector, right, on both Wings and Guardian of the Ancient Kings, which is great. And then we get Eye of Tyr, which is the return of the Legion Artifact, Truth Guard. This doesn't really have any synergy with the ideas I'm talking about, but it is a 1-minute CD that gives you your own personal CD again. So it's 25% DR for 9 seconds from the target, kind of like having an Ardent Defender. Reduces all damage you take by 20% for 8 seconds on a 2-minute CD. So it is effectively double the value on the DR side since you get it twice as often. But it's so nice for this kind of build, guys, because you can count on having a CD to press if you're doing a lot of work to WoG other people. Oh, and did I tell you about the part that seems to me to be the most busted? We are getting back an ability, well, it's sort of like this, an ability that has been gone for quite a while, and it was a holy power spender that gave you a HOT. It was called Eternal Flame. I don't know if you guys remember it. But what this is saying, and forget about the tooltip, it's saying 500% reduction. I think there's another one here. Yeah, this one's giving us 500 seconds of Ancient Kings reduction, which we definitely should have taken because it looks completely broken. But the tooltips will change. It's the functionality that I'm interested in. Word of Glory heals for an additional X percentage over 15 seconds. Think about this. This new idea, or old idea brought back, paired together with this new idea, cleaving our Word of Glories. That's right. We are now cleaving our Word of Glories. Guys, it's crazy. These two things together make me really excited to try this out because you get a HOT. This is essentially the same thing as Shielded Words, which says when you heal someone with Word of Glory as a paladin, you get a shield on you for a certain amount of it. But this goes on the target as a HOT, which means your upfront heal is also applying some kind of attack power amount of a HOT on top. Now, I don't think they intend this to scale with Hand of the Protector, so that if you hit somebody at 5% health and basically lay on hands them for most of their health, there's an improvement to the HOT. This is probably just some flat percentage of your attack power. But nevertheless, it's just another way to scale your healing that can be applied not just to yourself, but to everybody. If you guys like this style of triage healing from a Prot Pally, you love the flavor of being that, you want to try out in your raids cutting a healer and putting some of that work onto your Prot Paladin tanks, this is the expansion for you. It has all the tools. It has another entire index for healing. It looks amazing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll catch you next time.